tuning in to Blue Dog Radio. This is your host, The Wag. I am looking at a poll right now from Gallup. It was taken in 2011, and it shows that 41% of Americans, those polled, identify as conservatives. So that's less than half, but a good number. 36% as moderates. So a little more than a third, and then 21% as liberals. So based on that, if we want to define moderate and centrist as roughly the same thing, you could say that a little more than a third of Americans are some kind of centrist. Based on that, there is a large group of Americans who are not really being represented adequately by our political system. The parties are becoming increasingly polarized. Moderate members from either party are typically punished more by their own party than the opposition, and they find themselves in a situation where they're either getting beat by a primary challenge or they're just so hated that they dare not run for re-election. Admittedly, some of them probably deserved it, but the vast majority of them are being persecuted for no other reason than because they don't adhere to their party tribe. Well, there is an alternative, but it's not mobilized yet. The alternative is the center. We're still trying to figure out exactly who we are and what we're about. If you go to my favorite blog, I'm a regular contributor myself. It's called riseofthecenter.com. You'll see a link below. You can get a rough idea of what we're all about. Just take a look through. The one thing we all seem to have in common is we don't adhere to either party very well. The center, in order to rise, needs to become mobilized, but I don't think we should necessarily be too unified in our ideology. I think the diversity that makes up the center is what's best. It's our respect for individuality, our respect for the ability to disagree. You know, the right wing, for all their talk of individual freedoms and individuality, they've got to be about the most collectivist group in this country right now. I mean, they pretty much just all think alike. I see more diversity from the progressive left, believe it or not, than I see from the hard right these days. But I don't want to go into all that right now. I mainly want to encourage you to check out riseofthecenter.com. I am confident that in time, a centrist movement will emerge. That's why I started Blue Dog Radio. What is lacking is a voice. I mean, you turn on the radio, you can hear some right-wing insanity from Rush Limbaugh. You can hear less right-wing insanity from Neil Bortz. He's actually somewhat logical. He's kind of interesting. Or you can catch the left-wing guys, Ed Schultz, who threatened to kick Anderson Cooper's ass and called Laura Ingraham a right-wing slut. Or you've got Tom Hartmann, who has a much more pleasant demeanor, but he's always going on about these multinational corporate conspiracy theories that are just wacko. So you've got those extremes, but who is the voice of the center? I am hoping that different little grassroots organizations like riseofthecenter.com and like my channel here, Blue Dog Radio, and many other groups will coalesce in time, and the center will rise up and start to push the fringes where they belong, to the fringes. They have been dominating the mainstream of our politics for too long, probably since the mid-90s, and it's time for us to take America back. This is our country. It became our country when we elected Eisenhower in '52. We said, okay, Roosevelt did a lot of great things, but he was extreme. Now we need a good, moderate, good middle-of-the-road guy to just level things out. And look at the prosperity we enjoyed in the '50s as a result of that. So if you want to help the center rise, and if you want to get on the ground floor and help define exactly what the center is all about, go to riseofthecenter.com, check it out, and hey, start posting some comments on some blogs, including my own. Thank you for tuning in to Blue Dog Radio. This is the WAG signing off.
Now is the time for all good Americans to come to the aid of their country.